While we have always been partners for students, Advanced Academics and S4 have joined in a new partnership for a special group of students that are shared between the two departments. Twice exceptional students, or students identified to receive both gifted and special education services, have previously been supported by the departments independent of each other. To better support these unique students, we will move forward working together to identify individual needs that benefit and empower the students to find success despite their learning challenges and show growth in areas of strength. My name is Sarah Gibson, and I am the GT Specialist for K-12 here in Lubbock ISD, and I'm here to help with the GT side of Twice Exceptional students. As of August 2024, there were 76 students identified for both GT and SPED services, or in this group of unique Twice Exceptional students. The data shown here shows the areas of eligibility, where you see most of our students we identify as both have a quantitative strength or a math strength. And then lots of our students have speech, dyslexia, or ADHD as an OHI as their SPED eligibility. So as we look at our students, there may be a group of students that we need to continue looking at to see if they are also twice exceptional. How can we recognize a twice exceptional student? Not only can we look for traditional signs of both learning challenges and giftedness individually, but we can also look for paradoxes within the student's academic, social, and emotional behaviors. Previously, a document for GT was included in the PLAF for students identified for both services. Teachers provided information on general areas of strength, but not necessarily the area of strength identified by gifted evaluation. Teachers now have access to and should speak specifically to strengths aligned with the area of GT eligibility for twice exceptional students. These areas are verbal, quantitative, nonverbal, and creativity. These areas can be found in gifted documentation both in Frontline eSped v3 and uploaded into student forums in Eduphoria. Because Lubbock ISD provides services for GT by differentiating curriculum in the general education setting in the 4 core content areas, teachers should be able to provide academic ways the student is showing their strength. Based on student strengths or the area of eligibility, teachers should be providing appropriate instruction differentiated based on those strengths. In GT Foundation training, teachers are presented with multiple strategies to find what works best for each particular student. Appropriately differentiated instruction can include, but is not limited to, intentional grouping, alternative assignments, use of choice boards, modifying questions to elicit deeper or more complex thinking, and changes to the learning via differentiation of content, process, and product. By identifying areas of eligibility for GT, we have been able to align accommodations or strategies with each area, and these strategies can be identified as necessary for the students on a regular basis. These accommodations are based on how we want to grow strengths, just as accommodations currently used in the IEP are based on how we want to support challenges. Accommodations for GT have been available to teachers in Eduphoria, but they may not be aware of them. We want to narrow the focus of strategies and accommodations from general strengths in an area of eligibility to specific acts of differentiation to support these strengths. In the IEP, we will add a customized accommodation statement stating that we will provide differentiated instruction based on the student's GT eligibility in verbal, quantitative, nonverbal, or creative ability. From there, we can identify more specific ways as needed to accommodate that differentiation based on the GT accommodations document provided by Advanced Academics. The GT accommodations provide most common characteristics of learners with strengths in each area and strategies for accommodations that should work well to either challenge the student in their area of strength or use their strength to grow an area of academic weakness. When seeking the accommodation that might be the most necessary, teachers should identify the problem or challenge they are having in order to find the most accurate solution. For example, a student who struggles to pick up content vocabulary at the rate needed based on the pace of the lesson due to a weakness in crystallized ability, they are provided pre-teaching of the vocabulary as a regular opportunity or accommodation in the classroom. Similarly, a student with a GT strength in nonverbal ability excels in picture-based and manipulative heavy environments. You may also notice them having a higher verbal G score on his or her FIE. Continuing to offer manipulatives to these students by utilizing higher order questions with them and tasks will allow for growth in the area of strength. And providing an option for oral response will build their verbal ability or their crystallized intelligence as well. To be clear, this is only an addition of accommodations as needed to also support their strengths, not an additional goal or growth component. Hopefully, we will be able to recognize growth in each of these students, but you will not be responsible for monitoring GT. As you prepare for an upcoming ARD for a twice exceptional student, encourage the teachers to look over the GT accommodations list or provide them one for the student's area of strength. Then have them specify ways that they have been challenging or differentiating based on the identified need for those gifted services. If teachers are unable to provide any information in regard to the student's strengths, we are happy to have a conversation with you, the teacher, or anyone else as needed. Also note that these accommodations are not for testing. They are classroom-based only. A student with a recommendation to provide oral responses would still provide test responses to online assessments such as district assessments, CFAs, the STAR test, in the normal fashion. This is a new process for all of us, and we are excited to work with you to refine what this looks like and eventually provide this level of individualization to the rest of the GT population in Lubbock ISD.